You know, when I sit in front of the blank page, it doesn't care how successful or big the previous season was or how excited the audience was about it. It's a blank page that we have to still make good television that honors the character and intentions of Jesus in the Gospels.
That was the voice of Dallas Jenkins. He's the creator, writer, and director of the hit series The Chosen. He's joining us here today on Conversations from Studio 5, along with members of the cast, Yasmine Al-Bustami, Brandon Potter, Shaan Sharma, and Kirk Woller. Together, we're going to take you inside what you can expect for the all-new season of The Chosen. And we do warn you, there are a few spoilers. We begin our conversation from Studio 5 with Dallas Jenkins. So here we sit at season 4. How would you describe this season, first for Jesus and then for those chosen to follow him, if you will? How would you describe it?
Well, in season 3, we talked about that the theme was, "Come to me, you who are weary and heavy laden, I will give you rest." I think a good thing of a good perspective on this season to notice is that this time Jesus is weary and heavy laden, and he needs rest. Yeah. We see him throughout the season. Sometimes he even gets comforted by someone else. As we get closer and closer to Holy Week, we see in Scripture that Jesus got more frustrated, got more brokenhearted. He wept over the city of Jerusalem. He was frustrated at the religious leaders that they weren't getting his message. And then, yes, got frustrated at those who were chosen to follow him because they were still not quite getting what he was preaching. And he realized they're probably not going to get it until I die. And that's just as devastating, I think, for him as the death itself. And so this is the transition towards that in season 4. And I think season 4 in many ways is the beginning of the end.
Wow. I hear that, and I know watching, I just felt like as I'm hearing him talk, especially he's having a conversation with his mother, I'm like, I feel like he's describing us to a degree today. And I know this is scripted for back then, but I feel like that's
the hope, and that's the whole conceit of the show is seeing Jesus through the eyes of those who met him. And when you do that, you realize their struggles, their questions, their doubts were the same as ours are today. And hopefully the answer is the same. But I do think that we have the luxury that the disciples didn't have, is we can look back on it in retrospect. We sometimes read these stories and we're like, how could they not get it? It was so obvious. He was telling them. And we're like, and you got to remember the context of the time, the culture, their religious faith. They were so anticipating a Messiah who would be a conquering leader that when they finally found him, it was very hard for them to get out of that, of what they thought that would look like. And he just kept saying, no, I'm here for your heart. I'm here for your heart. We're not going to win a war just yet. Yeah. And they just couldn't grasp it. And so hopefully we don't make those same mistakes.
This production seems to continue to grow. We've got the 4th season, the entire 4th season going to be available in theaters. It grows every time I talk to you. What's the blessing in that, and what's the burden?
I think they're one and the same. And honestly, and I'm not just saying this to skirt the question, I really just don't think about that very much.
Wow.
I think the show demands certain things each season. You know, season 4 demanded a bigger scale because they're going to Jerusalem more often. There are bigger things happening. We've got stories you can see glimpses of in the trailer. This isn't a spoiler. Lazarus, the raising of Lazarus, the death of John the Baptist. There are things that are just big, emotionally and big on a larger scale, and so we have to expand the scope of the show and the production values and the depth of the storytelling as well. So in a lot of ways, that's exciting and that's fun and it's very gratifying. But like you said, it can be a burden, not because it's overwhelming, but because I've still got 3 seasons left. You know, when I sit in front of the blank page, it doesn't care how successful or big the previous season was or how excited the audience was about it. It's a blank page that we have to still make good television that honors the character and intentions of Jesus in the Gospels. So I can't think too much about the burden or the blessing. When season 7 is over, and if I'm thrilled with the show, you and I will sit down and I will go, finally, I can be excited and I can be proud and we can rest for a little bit and the burden doesn't matter anymore and the blessing doesn't matter anymore. It's just we can just appreciate the impact it's having.
That said, we are sitting at the start of season 4, so we know season 4 is complete. How much of this series, we're talking about 7, is done in your head or on paper right now?
So season 5 is written. We're still making some final adjustments to it. In just a few weeks or so, we'll probably get together to start outlining season 6 and 7. Now, when we first sat down 5 years ago, we started from the end. Like we plotted out the whole storyline, and then we worked our way backwards. So where does this story end? We know there's the resurrection, but we're going to go a little further than that. Okay, so then how do we get there? All right, what's the end of season 1? How do we get there? What's the end of episode 1? So we've had a good idea of the general approach to where we're going from the beginning, but now we gotta pull it off.
Have to ask, we see a surprising loss for some. I think they'll be surprised that we lose someone in this season. Yeah. Tell me about that process and what it was like shooting it and seeing this end.
So this was not a surprise to us. When we first devised the series, when we first started planning out the whole 7 seasons, we knew this was coming. With Rayma, we wanted the ability to surprise in a show that most people know so many of the storylines. So we knew from the beginning. It got more and more difficult as we got to know Yas, the actress, as we got to know the characters. But we stuck to the plan because it matters so much for where Thomas is going. And that is from Scripture. We know where Thomas ends up. We thought this was a really interesting way to contribute to that journey. But filming that whole sequence, it's not just what happens at the end of that sequence, but that's a sequence that's very, very long. And Jesus is preaching, and he heals a blind man, and he's doing the woes to the Pharisees. There's a lot going on, and it all just it's this boiling water that just ends up blowing up and steaming. And we felt like it was a natural conclusion and something that they would have faced during this time. So painful, yes, for all of us. It will be very painful for the audience. There are a lot more coming that's going to be painful as well. That's from Scripture. And we'll just all get through it together. And we all know that there is a very good news coming at the end that will be good news for everyone, including Thomas and Rayma.
Before I let you go, you do have another project that's coming. Christmas, what can you tell me about?
Yeah, I flew in late last night. I'm flying right after the premiere tonight. Best Christmas Pageant Ever is filming in Canada right now. And in fact, it's filming as we speak. I have my assistants helping getting some footage done today because we couldn't take the full day off. So Best Christmas Pageant Ever is something I'm very excited about. It's a project I've been chasing for 15 years. It's the only project that my wife and I would allow to be done during filming of The Chosen. The theme of it, I think, actually is very Chosen-esque, even though it's modern. It's the notion that when you strip away some of the pomp and circumstance that we apply to the Christmas story, when you strip all that away, you actually get closer to the heart of Jesus and closer to the truth of the story. And we just tell that through a modern comedic context, but with a very, very important and meaningful and touching message. So it actually has been really great for me because it's an artistic break. It's doing something very different from what I normally do, but something that still fulfills and scratches the itch of telling Jesus stories in a new way.
That was Dallas Jenkins, by the way, who's in production right now on a new film. It's called Best Christmas Pageant. We'll be sure to share more on that in the coming weeks and months. We want to now turn to actress Yasmine Al-Bustami, who plays the role of Rayma. She is sharing some breaking news about her storyline, and she's joined by actor Brendan Potter, who plays Quintus.
So let's dive right in. You
die.
I didn't want to say that. So you're reading the script. You see that. What are you thinking?
What am I thinking? Okay, so I didn't even know. I knew this was already planned from the get-go. But when I got the script, I just didn't have a chance to read it just yet. But then everybody on the cast, not everyone, but people were asking me, oh my gosh, did you read it? Did you read it? What do you think? And so already I knew, I'm like, oh, this is it. This is the time. Sad. Sad. I was sad. And have I dealt with my emotions? No, so I'm still sad.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Quintus, you play a role in there anywhere?
Oh, yeah, I'm the killer. There's that little part. I was not quite hyperventilating when I was reading the script, but I was definitely getting up and pacing. And, it's sort of funny because for the last several seasons, I would talk to Dallas and I would say, Quintus has been doing a lot of threatening of people. He needs to actually do something about it. And Dallas will say, like, just relax. We're going to. I know how stories work. I've got this covered. Yeah, but he needs to do something. And you say, relax. It's a long series. Be patient. And then when I read these scripts in season 4, I texted him. I was like, hey, are you sure that he needs to do something? Like, I kind of like immediately started backpedaling. So yeah, it was shocking, and I'm not entirely sure that I'm over it yet.
I'm so sad.
Let's
just suppress the emotion.
No.
We're not going to deal with them.
All smiles.
Yes, everything's
Let's go back to our living days.
Yeah.
Describe Rama's relationship with Jesus we see in the first few episodes of this season. What's the dynamic between the two?
It's absolutely gorgeous how you see it develop in such a way where Rama she has such a big heart, and she has such a love for just people and the people in her life that it's kind of tragic in a way when you see how things end up with her dad, because of course the only person that she would love to have in her life and be a part of her life that she's so close with is her dad, and that fact that she can't make him happy because of differing beliefs, and how you see she handles that, and it's a tough thing to go through, and she's dealing with it the best that she can, but then she has this cool dude over here, Jesus, and he's just there to support her in a way that she didn't even know that he would do, or would be even willing to do. And so it's just so cool to see how he becomes a part of her life in a way that she wasn't expecting. Like, she's already part of the group. She's already believing all these things that she's been learning throughout the journey that we've seen these guys go on. And now there's a different element to the relationship that she just, I don't think, was expecting. And to have that, it's kind of a beautiful surprise.
Yeah. So, Brandon, Quintus has always been my favorite character. I don't know why.
Boy.
But let me just say this. What's his mental state this season?
I think he is breaking. I think this is his breaking point. He's such a cerebral guy. We've seen him sort of think his way through problems and chess master all of his subordinates and the people of his municipality, right? And in this season, that goes away. It's pure emotion and gut and rage, and I think his mental state is a little broken right now.
Last question for both of you. Just finish this. The biggest surprise on this chosen journey has been?
I'm going to steal something that you said, the explosiveness of it.
Mm-hmm.
I love that when you said that.
Yeah.
Because it's true.
Yeah.
Sorry, I stole
You know what? I'm gonna steal something from you, actually. Yeah. When you were talking just now about Rama's relationship to her father and then Rama's relationship to Jesus, I was struck by the humanity of that, and that's something that I am continually struck by with the show. I mean, I'm in the show, I've read the scripts, I've seen the episodes, I know that humanity is at the core, but I can continue to be taken with people's stories and journeys and the sort of master craftsmanship at work here. So, yeah.
Thank you both. That's exactly what I said when I watched. I'm like, well, these are real people.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Pleasure.
In addition to The Chosen, Yasmine Al-Bustami can be seen in prime time on network television series. As for Brendan Potter, his voice is featured in a number of animated films and other films, and even a few video games. We want to continue our conversations from Studio 5 now with actor Shaan Sharma, who plays the role of Shmuel.
So, Shaan, remind us, as if we need reminding, who are you in The Chosen?
I play the hero of the show, really, which is the Pharisee who thinks that Jesus is a false prophet. And so Shmuel is my character's name. By the way, for anybody who is a fan of the show, it is Shmuel. And so not Shmuel or Shmuel, Shmuel. It's like Muel, Shmuel. And so he's at first very skeptical of the way Jesus arrives on the scene, and then gets increasingly convinced that he's a false prophet, and eventually is really trying to get the Sanhedrin to activate against Jesus. And then we've seen, at least at the end of season 3, that he may be having a change of heart.
Where do we see him, as much as you can tell me, in season 4? What are we looking at?
It's already been so much fun to shoot season 4 because
Really?
after meeting Jesus, we start to see a new side of Shmuel that we haven't had a chance to see yet. And so all I can tell you is that meeting Jesus made an impact on him.
Ah, that's a good tease.
Well, there's a scene that we shot where, Shmuel, after 3 seasons of chasing Jesus, actually meets him on the field after the feeding of the 5,000. And it's kind of a cliffhanger when they go off to pray on the hill together what happened. And so people will find out.
Do you see any of yourself in this character?
1,000,000%. Because I've experienced this in my own life where sometimes I am so convinced of something, it's hard for me to see the truth. And I think that that's what many people relate to Shmuel's character about, is that I've had people write to me and say, after watching the show and seeing Shmuel's performance, or the Shmuel story, that they're going to be less judgmental towards other people because they may just be trapped in a rigid ideology and not be open to something new that's in front of them. Not that we should abandon all of our, well-made rules and beliefs, but if you're so stuck in that you can't see something, else that's true, that's a problem. So Shmuel kind of stands in for everybody who was skeptical about somebody coming back and claiming to be the Messiah when there had been so many other false prophets, etc. So if we were alive 2,000 years ago, would everybody have immediately recognized Jesus as the Messiah? That's the question that Shmuel kind of poses.
This series has certainly changed the lives of many people. Being this closely involved in part of creation, has it changed you in any way?
So I think the biggest way that it's changed me is that it has been the fulfillment of my desire to be an actor. Because, we all want to be part of stories that touch people's lives. And we all have dreams of these imaginary, fantastic worlds, whether it's the Harry Potters or the Star Wars or you name it. But there's no story that touches more people's lives than this story. So of all the stories I could tell as an actor that would be meaningful to people and meaningful to me, this would be that story. And I somehow ended up in this position. So I could have a wonderful career from this point forward, but I'm good. Now that I've been a part of this show, it's all gravy from here on out because I don't think it gets any bigger than this. Yeah.
The fan response to the show is incredible. I've been in the presence of many fans just to see their reaction. Any stories or anything happen to you with a fan that you could share?
Oh, gosh, yeah. We did the premiere of season 3 in Atlanta, and we had 4,000 people in the theater that were all investors in the show or had supported the show in some way. And then afterwards, we had the opportunity to meet them. And they were so polite, and they were so, respectful. And then we also had, a big, long line for people to take photos with a bunch of us. So some people in the show were kind of pulling me away to go be part of that line. But there was one, woman that was there whose face dropped as soon as I was being pulled away. So I said, hold on. And I went and said, hey, hi. And she was so glad that I turned around and talked to her because she said that my character on the show, as hard as this is for me to believe, was the storyline that really impacted her the most because of her own issues with, accepting what is true and all of that. And so to know that my performance made such a big impact on her, to see someone's heart drop just because I'm walking away, she doesn't know me. But that was such a cool moment to just make her feel seen and validated from the person who's played a role in a show that really helped her on her faith journey. So that was a really special moment.
What is it about this series that has it doing so well, continuously growing? We are not where we were when we first started with the series. What is it about the show? What is it?
I think it's because it's the first time we've been able to dive really, really deep into an imagined, plausible world that the story of Jesus and those who knew him takes place. I think there's been obviously a risk that Dallas and the team have taken because they're taking some creative license and they're saying we're focusing on what could be plausible, not saying that this is exactly how it was. And a lot of the show is not written in the Bible. It is the imagined lives and situations of the people at the time. And it's kind of bookended or milestoned with different biblical moments. So for anybody who's been learning about these stories their entire life or been curious about it, this is such a cool new way to engage with it. And it's not just entertainment. It's something that people consume to learn more about the Christian faith, learn about the Bible, see stories being brought to life, try to imagine what that could have been like, because sometimes you read it and it doesn't really resonate until you see it being brought to life. So I think this is unlike anything else that has been created about a story that so many people have been taught their entire lives.
I know one of the last times we talked about fans being able to essentially own scenes, if you will. Looking back on what's been done so far, what would be Shaan's favorite scene?
I always go back to the scene from season 1 where Shmuel and Nicodemus are debating when is it okay to break out from what Torah says or the oral tradition says and accept something new. And what I love about that scene is how smart the debate is between Shmuel and Nicodemus, the mentor and mentee kind of teacher-student dynamic. But what's really fascinating is that we sometimes think that those who are older are the ones that are more rigid about the rules, and the ones who are younger are the ones who want to break free.
Yeah.
And it's the opposite. It's Shmuel has been raised to believe what Torah says is it, and he's baffled that his teacher is actually questioning or thinking beyond what is in the Torah. So I just think that is such a fun thing to look at about how sometimes it is the opposite, where those that are older, wiser can see that it isn't always just about the rules. Sometimes there's room to break free. So I just really loved playing that scene. Eric Avari, who plays Nicodemus, is such a master of the craft. It's so effortless for him. He'd probably say he worked his butt off, but it was really, it felt that way. So I just always go back to that. That was really fun.
Beautiful. Thank you. So good to talk to you.
You too.
Thanks.
Shaan Sharma is the founder of the Storytellers Conservatory. That's an on-camera actors training studio. Our expanded conversation on The Chosen continues with actor Kirk Woller. He plays the role of Gaius.
So, Kirk, you play the role of Gaius.
Yes, sir.
Who is Gaius then versus now as we begin this 4th season?
Well, he's always been a Roman, and clearly he's changing. He's on this side of the fence, the Roman side, and he's looking over there and seeing Jesus ever since the Sermon on the Mount and his message, and he's always been really curious. And so he's growing and changing and hearing Jesus' message and his beliefs, and he's starting to fall for him. So he's gone from sort of full-blown Roman to maybe he's going over there. So yeah, that's kind of the growth.
How does Gaius' story connect with Kirk's story?
Well, I think the show, flat out, it's just brought me closer to Jesus' message. You know, I thought I understood it, but the show is making me understand it on a much deeper level because of the journey that Gaius is taking. And I've done a lot more reading and a lot more thinking, and it's just bringing me closer to Jesus, to God, his message, you know, that's universal, divine spirit, you can, whatever everyone wants to call it. Like, wow, it's brought Kirk closer to that love and to that message.
Has the reaction to the series surprised you?
Boy, that's a great question. Surprised? I don't know. As an actor, you're just honored and blessed to be working, and you want to work, and you would love to have an impact if you possibly can. Oh, man. Can you say the question again?
Has the reaction to the series surprised you?
Yeah. Sorry, I got so caught up in thinking about that. Yes and no. I mean, I've never been a part of something so successful that's had such impact, so I'm really surprised by that and so grateful to be here. But in another way, no, I'm not surprised at all, because, like, I know everyone's probably saying this, but Jesus' message is really cool. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, can we just treat each other with respect? Can I just put you ahead of me? Can I not judge you for what you believe and who you are and what your past is? Like, who can't get behind that? I mean, that's wisdom for everybody. Nationality, color, creed, it doesn't matter. So am I surprised that people are digging that? No, I'm not surprised by that, because that's the truth, and we all know it.
When did you recognize this series' impact? What fan interaction or what happened that you were able to see it?
Wow. Well, I've been friends and have worked with Dallas for over 23 years.
Wow.
I've basically been blessed and honored to be in just about everything he's done, right? So I think what hit me is when I came back for season 3, and we were in small little trailers, you know, they call them honey wagons, and it smelled like diesel, and it was like you just didn't even want to go in there, so you just kind of wandered around the set in the beginning. It was like, it was pretty rough. No disrespect to anybody, but yeah, it was not great. But I came back for season 3, and I drove here into Midlothian, and there was like a sound stage, and there was bungalows. I'm like, what just happened? Wait a minute. And they were putting us in apartments, and they rented us a car. Wait a minute. So yeah, that's when I went, something's going on.
How would you describe the season we're entering? Without giving too much away, of course. How would you describe it?
I guess it's going to get ugly.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting ugly. There's a lot of challenges. There's a lot of friction. Everybody's challenged with Jesus, trying to follow Jesus. Jesus is, I think he's going to be isolated. It's like everything is sort of, it's heating up, you know? Like, Jesus is feeling it too. You know, like he's getting it. He understands what's going on and it's going to happen to the disciples. And the disciples are starting to get that too. Wait a minute. What am I really signing up for here? So there's a lot of that. And then even on the Roman side, and for guys, there's a lot of stuff. But I also think there's a great deal of hope that we're in store for. So kind of dark, ugly, but then there's hope, joy.
If you could take a quick look back at the previous 3 seasons in this, your favorite scene to date?
Oh, man, that's such an unfair question. Favorite scene?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. I'm so bad. I don't have favorites. I don't have a favorite color. I don't have a favorite food.
Any stand out most memorable?
Oh, man. Well, this season there are 2 very intense scenes that I have. So for intensity, I would say the couple that we've shot already, like very, very deep and intense. So I'm going to say those are the most memorable. I don't know if they're my most favorite because they're just,
they're intense.
They're tough sometimes because you got to stay in that, but what a blessing and an honor to be able to do that. So I would say 2 scenes that haven't been seen yet.
All right. Can't wait to see it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great talking to you.
Likewise. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Kirk Woller has a long list of stage performances, television appearances, and films, including a role in Steven Spielberg's Minority Report. All 8 episodes of Season 4 of The Chosen, by the way, will be released in theaters. They're going to be rolled out in stages. That's going to happen from now through March. The episodes will then be released on the small screen. We want to thank you for joining us for this edition of Conversations from Studio 5. We thank you for making this your weekly destination for interviews in the world of uplifting entertainment and popular culture, along with faith. Hope you'll join us next week. We're going to sit down with the former 700 Club host, speaker, and author, Sheila Walsh. For more information on the show, please be sure to check out our Facebook page. And you can find us on Instagram simply by searching Studio 5. We'll see you next time right here on the podcast.